So I'd like to introduce our first speaker for tonight. Thrilled to welcome back Alan. He's been part of our community before. He spoke at our Avoid the Burnout workshop late last year. Alan's a qualified personal trainer and nutrition coach, and also certified life and performance coach. His passion is to help people like you get healthy and happy without being confused by all the information that there is out there. Alan is also a passionate feminist and has created programs to empower women to be their best version. Before all of this though, Alan got his bachelor's degree in applied finance and law, and has worked in finance firms in Sydney, Melbourne, London for 10 years. So he knows all the joys of client reporting, deadlines, daily check-ins, and trying to balance a healthy diet and make time for exercise around all of this. So a warm welcome to Alan. I'll encourage him to turn on his video and his microphone, and we're going to hand over to Alan now.
Thanks, Amanda, for the kind introduction, and big thank you for sharing your story as well. Big hugs to you. So the WIDAC team wanted me to talk about personal nutrition and lifestyle. And as we go through the next few minutes, I've created what's called the Marshall system. And I'll go through the letters of that acronym. And it's just a really simple system that you can follow through in your own personal life. Next page, please. So they also wanted me to talk about what we're doing in isolation. So at the moment, we're living through a global pandemic. You really don't need to be perfect. I'm in what's called maintenance mode, as opposed to what I would ideally want to be is high performance mode. So some of the little things that I'm doing and things that I can control in my day-to-day. When I wake up, it's a squeeze of lemon and warm water in the morning, mobility and stretching for 5 or 10 minutes, and that just wakes the body up from, you know, a really quality sleep. Again, one more thing that I can control is what I buy and what I cook and what I put into my body. So I try to make those as healthy as I can. Sticking to business hours for my business. If you're working from home, there is that blurring of personal and business time, and especially if you've got kids as well, you kind of can't plan around that. But if you can protect that personal time as much as possible, and you can spend that on yourself. I am snacking on chips and chocolate. Look, we're in a pandemic. I'm allowed to spoil myself sometimes, right? I'm not a big baker, but we had some overripe banana bread, made some last week, and it was goddamn amazing. So I've discovered that I'm a really good baker as well in this time of isolation, which I'm sure most people have too. I am relaxing, watching shows and movies most nights. Don't feel like you need to be super productive in these times. Just relax and take care of yourself. I'm having a takeaway meal from a favorite place. I want to make sure that the businesses around me are supported and hopefully are still around when things get back to normal. And again, one more thing that I can control as well is just really making sure that I'm sleeping and waking up at consistent times as well. And the body really craves consistency. Next slide, please. So the M in Marshall system, I would put as managing your stress. I'm gonna frame this, make some notes on each of the 4 points, but I'm gonna try and focus on the bolded one just because we don't have limited time. So deep breathing, write in a journal, control your body, control your mind. Even though we're stuck at home, we probably don't have those micro stresses and triggers like commuting, not being able to get a seat on the train, or you don't have traffic. But there are going to be other things that would stress you out. So again, if you're working from home or you're working with your partner, you've got those kind of triggers as well. You've always got your deadlines and bosses' demands as well. So recognize when you get triggered and how you deal with it. So if you're jumping to food and alcohol, that's probably going to be your biggest downfall over this time. Next slide, please. So the A is for adhering to the 80-20 rule. I keep my nutrition rules quite simple. If you're healthy 80-90% of the time, you can treat yourself. So what it means to be healthy is, again, you don't want to be following fad diets or anything that's kind of out there. Try this, try that. Just stick with what works for you. Mostly unprocessed whole foods. If you're going shopping, you want your fresh fruit and veggies, frozen stuff around as well. The one aisle I do recommend is herbs and spices in the middle. They got really good essential oils. They add amazing flavor and variety to your foods as well. And as I said for myself, I'm having occasional treats as well, but put them in a bowl, make sure they're in the pantry, so you have to take those 1 or 2 steps to be able to have them. Next one, please. R is remember to hydrate. So your body is about 60% water, your brain is about 75, 73%. So even a small drop in hydration is going to affect your concentration levels, your productivity. And again, irritation is one of those things that are going to happen when you're dehydrated. I want to highlight herbal teas as my key point for this. Just the act of making the tea, boiling the kettle, waiting for it to steep, the smells of that as well, are going to bring you back to the present, and it's going to be a couple of minutes that you can have for yourself in a really busy day. Coffee is fine, don't get too caught up on that. And if clients struggle with drinking 2 liters of water, I always tell them that they can eat their water as well. So include, your fruits and cucumber and celery in your water intake too. Next one, thanks Amanda. T is take care of your gut. This is a massively underrated one that probably most people don't really consider. Gut health is a really, really big thing that's kind of in the last 5 years or so, more and more literature's come out on how impactful your gut health is. Reduce your processed foods and sugars. That's going to feed your bad bacteria. I'll put it in inverted commas. That's going to lead to like inflammation and bloating. Eating more prebiotics. That's kind of your resistant starch from your roots vegetables, insoluble fiber from your greens and all that healthy stuff. That's going to feed the good bacteria. And we all kind of, probiotics have been the next big thing. And that's your fermented foods like yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, all that kind of stuff, just to repopulate your gut bacteria as well. Digestion starts in the mouth, so the more saliva and the more ground up your food is, the easier that is going to be on your gut as well. So if there's one tip that you take away from this presentation, it's to masticate as much as you can. Next page, please. Cool. I is for incidental exercise. This is probably the hardest one in this new day and age because we are stuck at home. When back in normal times, we're able to walk to work, we're able to grab a coffee, do all that kind of stuff. So the best tips I can give you is to get a sit-stand desk, but take that daily walk in the sunshine as well. Just obviously keep in mind the social distancing rules and all that kind of stuff, but getting that vitamin D, getting out and about, getting that fresh oxygen is really important. You don't want to add depression from being stuck inside all day with your issues. Some of the triggers you can do is a bodyweight squat after each call, stretches after each email, just something to trigger what you would otherwise be doing with your normal day-to-day activity. Next page, please. This next one's probably more future-minded. Again, because of the rules that we have, we can't really go out and play team sports. We can't do all the stuff that we want to do. Hopefully the gyms will reopen again soon. But hobbies that encourage mindfulness rather than just sitting there and switching off. But then make a list of activities and clubs you might want to join up with. This is kind of like planning a holiday in the future, but at least you can have a club that you can what you want to join up with, a team sport. You can see the banner behind me. I teach martial arts as well. Something that you might want to try that you've kind of taken for granted. The key to this is that trying to do exercise should be fun. We want to do an activity that you want to do, not because you have to do it. And the next one is the key one, learning and understanding. Next one, please, Amanda. There's no point just ticking off all those things if you don't understand why you're doing them. And so kind of through coaching and trying to understand your own body and your own mind, you're cutting through the noisy information that's out there. So if you're able to process all that, find out what works for you and your body and then implement that rather than trying to chase the latest fad or latest exercise trend, those are going to be really key for your success. And then if you need coaching and support, that's either the professionals on the call today or friends who have succeeded before or people who have done that in the past. Get some coaching and mentoring to help you through that process. Next page just to finish on. So that's the Marshall system. That's what it spells. And I like to finish off by thanking Amanda and the WIDAC team for inviting me back. Second time, which means that I probably did a good job the first time. And WIDAC is something I'm really passionate about as well. So I'm happy to offer a complimentary coaching chat to someone if you want. My contact details are there and I'll be in touch after the sessions as well. Thanks, Amanda.
Amazing. Thanks so much for that. Excuse me, Alan. Fantastic tips. Personally, everything that I've been dealing with, and I've been getting stuck in habits of staying indoors and not getting out and about and not treating my body well and drinking a lot. I'm actually enjoying the gin and tonic, but everything in moderation. So yeah, I think it's really important to be so self-aware of what you're doing and how you deal with things. So thank you for those really.
You're welcome. Thank you.
you.